AI is no longer just a technology story playing out in labs or Silicon Valley boardrooms. It is now moving markets, reshaping business strategy, and forcing investors to rethink how value is actually created in the digital economy. From record capital inflows into AI infrastructure to growing questions about productivity gains, job displacement, and whether this is a true industrial shift or another cycle of hype. Well, there is a lot that still needs to be considered, and in this conversation with me is joining Neeti Sharma, CEO of Team Lease Digital.
Thank you for having me here.
So I'll just dive right into it. So, AI is no longer just a technology story, which I just said. It is clearly moving markets and shaping business strategy. From your perspective, what is really driving this phase? Is it genuine innovation, investor enthusiasm, or a mix of both?
I think if we were to have this conversation about 24 months ago, I would clearly say it was investor enthusiasm. But the last 18 to 24 months have very clearly shown that AI is not just another technology cycle. I think this is real. There's a lot of business adoption that is already happening. Of course, many companies, early adopters, had made investments in multiple POCs, and we know that not all POCs have gone into production. Maybe 10 to 15% have gone into production. But the litmus test of what will actually work and where AI can be used, I think we companies have gone through that cycle and now know how to use AI effectively. So I would call it saying that today it is about ensuring that there is genuine innovation happening. There's a lot of, obviously top dollars being put onto the technology platforms. But it's not just about, hey, let me try my luck. It's not FOMO anymore. I think we all realize enterprises cannot afford to miss the AI race or not be part of the AI cycle. So they will obviously look at adopting AI. There are build companies who are using AI and AI tools to ensure that they build good products, efficient products for their end customers. And obviously, there are many AI user companies who are ensuring that they use AI, adopt AI, build AI agents to just initially bring in productivity, but eventually also bring in a lot more enhancement into their customer experiences, into manufacturing, sales. So I think right now, I wouldn't say it's enthusiasm. I would say it's a rational call that investors are making, saying, "Hey, this is AI is here to stay. AI is only changing the world of work on a daily basis." And we see multiple signals, right? The kind of people that companies are hiring. Earlier, it was purely about, does somebody know prompt engineering? But now, prompt engineering has become a basic skill. Now, people are looking at platform engineers, AI platform engineers, AI architects, data architects, agentic AI engineers, which has grown by more than 100% year on year in India itself. So obviously, this is going to hit scale, and investors are in the right place to make their investments with a very high, return outlook.
Right, I hear you, Neeti. We've seen that there is a lot of capital chasing AI right now. You just said it's a very rational choice, but not every investment boom produces, lasting winners. So how do you separate companies with a real commercial traction from those benefiting mainly from market excitement or rationalization of these AI investments?
I think the real test would be what are the outcomes these companies are trying to gain when they deploy AI, right? Is it that I'm going to replace 100 people for my customer service and have AI agents, so I'm going to actually save some money, or is it not? Apart from productivity, apart from just replacing humans, is there something that I'm doing differently? And that is where AI comes in. And I think investors are clearly looking for what problem am I trying to solve. It's a given that AI is definitely is a productivity enhancement tool. It's a given that a lot of coding technology, day-to-day data-driven work can be done using AI, whether it's Claude or OpenAI, or there are multiple tools that are available right now. But let's say take a case in point, saying in a manufacturing unit, if the unit is using AI to figure out how do I reduce my machine downtime. Now that is a real use case. In a health tech company, for example, if medical practitioners are able to use AI tools to provide better, services to patients, to ensure that patients are healing better. Their analysis is a lot better. I think these are very clear use cases where AI will help a lot more than many others. And that's where really investors are starting to bifurcate, saying what's the use case, what's the problem statement that I'm trying to resolve, and is it a long-term solution, or is it just I'm replacing 10 people for writing my lines of code. It's not a long-term thing. It's a short-term. It's going to be here, but the use case is purely then productivity and nothing else. So I guess the use case, the industry, the innovation, I think all three are very critical for investors to decide where they put their money in and where they actually probably don't even think of going there.
Is it actually, which shows, according to you, that AI is actually improving margins, efficiency, or decision making inside companies? Because you just said that, companies are looking for AI in short term tasks and everything. So, what do you think, that is it efficiency or decision making, or, is it margins to improve margins?
So I think it's a given that efficiencies are definitely getting improved by using AI. But we also hear of cases where, let's say 100, and I'll take the example of, let's say, a customer service company, where 100 customer service executives were laid off because, hey, now I have AI and AI agents to respond to my customers. But then some of them were actually got back because the whole human in the loop element was missing. So it's not that AI can do everything that a human being is doing. There are certain kind of tasks which are redundant, regular, data-driven tasks that AI is very clearly able to do. But there are places where you need human creativity. You need human beings to create those agents as well. So I guess the day-to-day data-driven work clearly can be replaced using AI agents. But there are many other works like decision making, creative thinking, and leadership analysis, the strategic directions the companies have to take. None of those roles are getting replaced anytime soon, because AI will do what a human mind has trained it to, what the data has trained it to, for the what the models are being trained for, right? Yes, in the long run, I mean, we also hear cases where Indian workers are given headphones and cameras saying, now you work. That's even let's say house help, or you're cooking, why don't you train a model for cooking? Sure, there would be robots because physical AI is now becoming a reality. But there are certain things that AI can do, and there are a lot of more additional things that human beings can do. So I would say it's a combination of productivity, margins, as well as efficiency. But at what cost is what enterprises are now thinking about. And at what cost do I replace human beings and not bring them at all in the workflow, is the other angle that a lot of companies are looking at. We all know, I mean, technology changes lives. Technology has changed the way we bank. Technology has changed the way we talk to customer agents. It changes the way we are writing software codes right now. But eventually, it is also creating new roles and new jobs for human beings. So I guess it's a balance between productivity and efficiency clearly, but also business margins have to show up, because you can't just buy top dollar tokens where you're not getting any return or ROI on your investment.
Correct. I'll just stay on the employment side. AI is creating a lot of uncertainty, but also a lot of expectation around new kinds of work, which I understand that you've just spoken about. So, can you pick and choose which sectors or roles do you think will feel the strongest short-term pressure, and where do you see confidence in hiring and skill demand?
So we've already seen the customer support agents being replaced by bots and AI agents right now. We know that about 70-80% of entry level software roles have gone, because obviously that coding is being done using AI. So I guess a lot of entry level roles are going away. A lot of roles which are purely driven by data and doing day to day repetitive work, because anything repetitive AI can be trained and data models can be trained to take over. But what are the roles that are not going to go away? Like I mentioned previously, all the decision making roles, the creative roles, the thinking, strategy roles, a lot of roles where you need humans to review what AI has done. So let's say in the tech sector, I keep calling this out that L3 is the new L1, which means the manual testers roles have gone, the junior software developer roles have gone. But a senior software developer's role is now to review what the AI agents have written as codes, see how it is imbibed into the conventional technology platform, and whether it's going to run seamlessly or no. So there is a software reviewer role now rather than just a software writer role, coder role, or a prompt engineer role. But there are lots of new roles that are getting created: AI engineers, AI architects, data architects, cybersecurity, because everything of AI is on data, and all the data is on cloud. Chances of the data being misused is obviously very, very high. So how do organizations ensure that their customer data is secure? So cybersecurity and cybersecurity experts is a role that is in huge demand. Cloud engineering, data engineering, governance again, where I use data, where I use AI vis-a-vis where I don't use is equally important. Robotics and physical AI is the next big thing that is going to come in, especially in India, because India has not seen this at scale at the moment. Needless to say, AI product manager. Last year, there was a role called Chief AI Officer, where the job was purely to ensure that AI is adopted and deployed in the workplace. This year, there is a new role that has come, which is called the Forward Deployment of Engineer, FDEs as they are called. Last year, I think in India, the numbers would have been just 200 to 250. Right now, it's grown up by 800%. And here I'm just giving India stats. So there are multiple roles that are getting created. We also hear that a lot of investments and policies are being driven for data centers across the country. Now, there are some hubs in some states where data centers are coming up in a big way. Those are going to create many more jobs, blue collared, gray collared, as well as white collared jobs, to ensure that these data centers are supported globally 24 by 7. So, yeah, so I think it's a disruptive time. We will see many new jobs coming in. We will see many legacy jobs also going away. But net in the long run is going to be beneficial for us.
Right, I hear you, Niti. I'll go towards the business sentiment point of view now. Do you think companies are becoming more cautious about AI spending, or are they still in the move fast and invest first mode? And how much of that, depends on broader economic conditions right now that we are looking at?
So I typically divide organizations and enterprises into two buckets: AI built companies and AI use companies. Now, at AI built companies, the investments are going to be a lot steeper, a lot higher, and the ROIs will get answered or seen over a period of time. But AI use companies will be very cautious about where they are using it, what is the business problem that it's trying to solve. Can I do this with a human mind at one fourth the cost or half the cost, or am I just deploying AI agents for the sake of deploying AI agents? So I think AI use companies are obviously going to be very, very cautious. It is an expensive proposition at the moment, but I think over a period of time the costs will start rationalizing, and then I guess the AI deployment will be more democratic than what it is right now. Most of the AI use companies, are the decisions for AI adoption are being held at the leadership level. The entire company will not get access. Organizations will decide, saying, let me use it in pockets where I believe there is a business problem to solve, there is a challenge, and I can do it better at a seamlessly lower cost. But in places where it's going to be super expensive, the AI adoption or the investments are going to be staggered. They'll not. It's not a zero sum game, but it'll be staggered. People will look at ROIs. People will monitor what is it that they're getting eventually out of it, and in the long run, how it's going to get beneficial. But for AI built companies, product companies, technology companies, even technology departments in all companies, I don't think there is a cap right now. I think people are making huge investments because unless we do that, we will not know where exactly this can take us and at what scale we can hit. So that's the reason I kind of divide which organization or which bucket you sit in.
Right, Neeti. Before wrapping up the segment, I just want to get one question to wrap this whole segment up. So how much of this, is a durable transformation, and how much is market enthusiasm running ahead of the fundamentals?
I think the jury's still out on this question, Adya, because people are still trying to figure out, whether AI can improve productivity, reduce costs, increase revenues, or just enhance experiences, right? In some cases, like let's say for software development, AI coding assistants are helping developers write, test, debug code faster. So I think there is a real use case. There is an ROI very, very clearly. But if I have to, let's say, look at measuring business outcomes for a bank, right? While banks may use AI to detect fraud in real time, protect customer data, I think retail banking doesn't need AI just as yet. So there are use cases, right? I wouldn't say it's market enthusiasm running, ahead of reality. It's a balance that everyone is trying to bring out with reality. Uh, but because it's an experimental phase, a lot of people are looking at, am I in the AI race, right? There are investments happening in places where I think probably is a little early, but business transformation is clearly happening across all segments. Everyone is on the drawing board thinking about what next for my organization, what next for my org structure, what kind of skills I need. So I guess there's different life stages of organizations, but business transformation is a reality and it is bound to happen. I really don't think there's enough investment right now. I think that the more money we put in, the more efforts we put in, the more R&D we do, innovation we do, life is going to change for all of us. It's just better that we are part of this journey rather than being stayed left behind.
Right, Nidhi, as you've said, capital continues to flow, companies race to scale AI across industries. The real test will be execution, of course, productivity gains and long-term profitability. We'll continue tracking how the story evolves across markets, companies, and the global economy. But thank you so much, Nidhi, for joining us on the broadcast and sharing your insights on the same.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.